Protests in Ukraine are growing. Violent clashes between government forces and opposition demonstrators are no longer being seen in the capital alone.
Protesters are angry with the pro-Russian president and legislation he recently passed. They're calling on him to step down and for early elections to be held. Dale Hurd has more in tonight's top story.
Protest had been focused in the capital, Kiev, but that changed Thursday. Protesters stormed government offices in 3 western Ukraine cities, forcing one governor to write a letter of resignation. Anti-government protesters and riot police have been engaging in increasingly violent clashes this week. Both sides waiting on the outcome of a second round of talks between President Viktor Yanukovych and opposition leaders.
The president is to sack the government and to repeal all unconstitutionally passed package of dictatorship laws. If we get this result, I strongly believe that we can resolve the crisis.
Opposition leader Vitaly Klitschko told protesters that if the talks are unsuccessful and their demands are not met, he will lead them in an attack. He already accuses the government of having the blood of protesters on its hands after 4 deaths were reported in clashes this week.
All I can say, we will do everything we can. I will do everything I can to stop the escalation and the deaths.
But Ukraine's prime minister says that while his government is willing to work with the opposition, the ultimatums they've given are unconstitutional.
There is a range of requirements which can make the basis for the compromise. There is also a range of requirements from our side which also have to be fulfilled. And we say that any kind of anti-constitutional actions in the capital should be stopped.
President Yanukovych called for the parliament to come back into session to consider a solution to the escalating crisis. CBN News spoke with a pastor in Ukraine. He says that while the people are protesting for freedom, a concern is that the crisis will lead to military involvement from other countries.
We can see on Kiev streets and on Ukrainian land, not just police, Ukrainian police, but foreign troops. And that is the major concern for many people now.
Other members of the European Union are already condemning the recent anti-protest laws passed by the Ukrainian government. And the United States is threatening to impose sanctions if violence is used against protesters. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Pastor Timchenkyo tells CBN News that the church is not sitting on the sidelines during these protests. A 24-hour prayer tent in downtown Kiev is always full, he says, and church members are working hard to hand out water, food, and Bibles, both to opposition forces and police.